Good afternoon, you guys. I'm continuing on with my series of videos on Jesse Czebotar. I listened to a podcast that Jesse did with Sarah Westall in 2020. I'll leave the link in the description box, where you will not find my Patreon account. I don't have one, and you won't find a link to Jesse's Patreon account in my description box. But I will leave the link for Sarah Westall and Jesse Czebotar's 2020 video or podcast recording. Evidently, Sarah Westall's audio gets lost at different points during this interview. So they, say something about that in the beginning. Sarah Westall's podcast is called Fringe Radio with Westall, and I think that that's very appropriate. Heavy emphasis on fringe, Sarah Westall. In this interview, Jesse says that she was trained in end times rituals. Now, this is the fourth ritual that Jesse had received training for by my count. There may be more, but there were 3 others in a different interview. But in this interview, she's talking about she was trained in the end times ritual. So, evidently, in April of 2020, the Illuminati performed end-timed rituals. And so that's April of 2020. Jesse got out many years ago, but they had trained her all those years ago for this April 2020 date. Let me talk to my dogs for a second. No. Hey, no. No. So, Jesse trained for the end time rituals years ago that would take place in April of 2020. And so, in April of 2020, there were government individuals that called Jesse and monitored her by satellite to make sure that she was not taken out in the spirit by the Illuminati. I had to read that from my own notes. I'm going to reread it because it scrambles my brain. There were government individuals that called Jesse in April of 2020 because the Illuminati was performing the end time rituals that she had been trained for. They called her and they monitored her by satellite to make sure that she was not taken out in the spirit by the Illuminati. She said it. I didn't say it. I don't believe it. It made me want to make a video entitled Jesse Czebotar, Things That Did Not Happen. When Jesse is talking about this with Sarah Westall, she said that she decided that she was no longer going to take part in rituals, and at 10 she refused to take part. And so, because she refused to take part, the Illuminati would Um, we're not supposed to talk about some things on YouTube, and this is one of those things. Jesse said that the Illuminati would eliminate a child when she would refuse to take part in rituals. Jesse also went on to say that the Lord would tell Jesse not to look away from the sacrificed children as that was taking place. As in, the Lord told Jesse, watch. Not once, but more than once. In that video that I would make about Jesse Czebotar, things that did not happen, I'd put that in there too. I certainly would. I want to say right here, this is so disrespectful to victims. This really does happen. I know it really does happen. A lot of people are understanding that it really does happen. Jesse may have raised awareness with some people that this really does happen. She also crosses the line. In many different ways. And she's also not telling you the truth in many instances that I can prove. Jesse says that because she watched, it caused her to pray to God to get everyone out, not just her. But it would cause her to pray to God to get everyone out. She needed to see that. I take that back. That's the hero complex that Jesse has going. It's Jesse, in many of her interviews, there's always a heroic act that Jesse has taken, and that'll be part of the interview. I can't even explain the rest of the Jesse and Sarah Westall conversation. It is so gratuitous. I had to stop the interview. Jesse Czebotar is the female version of Tim Holmseth. It is no wonder to me why Jesse asked Lucian Greaves, the person that identifies as a Satanist on Twitter, to borrow a pornographic tape. Jesse speaks of child abuse in a manner gratuitous to people who have an affinity with devil porn. That's devil porn. And you'll have to excuse the background noise. I can't stop it. And I'm not going to stop my video either. And I'm going to post it with the background noise. But back to this thing called DEVIL porn, devil porn. I didn't know that there was such a thing, but there is. It has a following like any other fetish. Jesse is speaking devil porn. She's selling it in her interviews in some instances. She isn't testifying of things that she has seen. In my estimation, that's my opinion. I don't believe that Jessie is testifying of things that she's seen. It's all in her head. And Sarah Westall, being the host that she is, well, she was very gracious with Jessie. I think she believed it all. Or something. And I'm going to stop here because I'm not going to make this a video so where I can't post it. I'm posting it. Lord bless you guys in Jesus' name. And be praying, folks. I pray. Trust me, I pray. I spend a lot of time in prayer before I post these videos. And this is one thing that I was going to tell Jessie. So hopefully Jessie stays through to the end of this video. But Jessie, English is not my first language. My first language. So, just throwing that out there. Lord bless you guys in Jesus' name.